Introduction. Joran B. Peterson, at Joran Peterson, is a clinical psychologist, YouTube personality, author, and professor of psychology at the University of Toronto. Joran joins Joe Rogan for a 4-hour conversation that covers everything from creativity to climate change to capitalism to gender, and much, much more. Climate change. The words climate and environment mean so much that they mean nothing. Climate is synonymous with everything. When solving everything problems, you don't know which variables were effective or ineffective in the solution. How seriously we take the future is nearly an impossible computation to solve. Joran Peterson. Models with long time arcs, like climate change, have more error. One small error in the model compounds into a multitude of errors, and you end up with a disaster narrative. The fastest way to make the planet sustainably green and ecologically viable is to make poor people as rich as possible as fast as we can. Joran Peterson. Poor people are not resource efficient, consuming a lot of resources and producing little outcome. When you don't know where your next meal is coming from, you don't use the long-term thinking necessary to be environmentally conscious. Everything pollutes something. Net zero is nonsense in Joran's opinion. Capitalism and economies. When it comes to manufacturing costs, the phrases too much and more are very different. This is where the margin of companies in a capitalistic system thrive, at the disadvantage of the worker. Companies choose larger margins over investment in their workforce, healthcare, higher salaries, etc. And even larger margins when they outsource the work abroad. The freeing of trade worldwide and the benefits that it produced were paid for disproportionately by the American working class. Joran Peterson. How do we effectively transition people from the working class economy to the knowledge/information economy? We don't have a strategy. China is educating more engineers every year than the US has in total. Gender and civilization. If you look at teenagers who want to switch genders, 95% of them are unbearably confused. Joran Peterson. Joran believes the primacy of felt identity in teenagers is the repressed fantasy play that should have happened in young children, 3 to 5, coming to the forefront. Technology and smartphones delayed this creative onset, and teenagers are turning to gender as an outlet for their underdeveloped understanding of identity and creativity. In reference to Douglas Murray, they discuss how civilizations on the verge of collapse become obsessed with gender. Joran argues that it's not exclusively gender but a disintegration of categories. Culture is a structure of categories that we share and communicate. Without some familiar understanding, we fail to be civilized. Creativity. Creative Achievement Questionnaire. Joran was involved with designing a test that gauges lifetime creative contributions to 13 different creative domains. 70% of people scored 0 across all 13 domains. Creativity is high risk, high reward, and sometimes even fatal. Many people watch from the sidelines only to copy the creator in the end. The world is inexhaustible, we can each have a unique destiny. Joran Peterson. The only way to a unique destiny is by trusting your creative intuition. Even failures are unique. Creative people often have mutable identities. Creative people by definition are not stable in their identities, that's what makes them creative. Joran Peterson. Some of the most creative and charismatic people can manifest a high level of integration between masculine and feminine identities. The power of wonder. When you wonder about something, you're freeing your perception from the constraints of memory. Joran Peterson. Wonder is the openness to the transformation of new ideas. Everything around you is infinitely remarkable, but we constantly perceive nothing. Sensory deprivation tanks allow you to remove external sensations and focus on the things you'd usually ignore. Twitter versus reality. Twitter is a recreational outrage addiction. Joe Rogan. When you manifest this same outrage in the real world, there is a cost. Joran continues to read outrageous Twitter comments out of pathological curiosity. Those who are immune to social criticism entirely is a psychopath. Among the many negative comments on Twitter, Joran says he gets almost 100% positive responses on YouTube and in person. Humans are designed to react to danger. Twitter often triggers a false response to danger but is nonetheless stimulating. Psychedelic reading material. The Immortality Key, The Secret History of the Religion with No Name by Brian Murerescu, explores the groundbreaking connection between psychedelics and the origins of Western civilization. Turn On, Tune In, Drop Out by Timothy Leary. Joran says it probably should have been named Turn On, Tune In, and Be Better. Explores empowerment, personal responsibility, and spiritual awakening during the psychedelic era. The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test by Tom Wolfe details the influence of acid on the counterculture movement in the 1960s. Immunological disorders solved with meat. Joran believes taking benzodiazepines only made his immunological disorders worse. His mostly meat diet has been a big part of his recovery in his opinion. Joran Peterson, Joran Peterson's daughter who suffers from her own immunological disorders, has become an advocate for carnivorous diets being a treatment for chronic and untreatable diseases. Michaela only eats lamb, seems to manifest fewer immunological symptoms on this diet. Joran references a recent Harvard study on the carnivore diet. A straightforward review of the results can be found here. Overwhelmingly positive outcomes in all aspects of health for the majority of participants. Joran Peterson assorted quotes and philosophies. The eternal dance of freedom and structure, but one cannot exist without the other. The right amount of rules for freedom is not zero. Joran Peterson. Music is the intimation of meaning. Music is layered in patterns to make it sound harmonious. Being in sync with the patterns of a song generates personal meaning. When you can harmonize with the patterns of the world the same way you do with music, you begin to understand the meaning of life. Music puts you on the border of chaos and order. Joran Peterson. It isn't that the Bible is true, it's that the Bible is the precondition for the manifestation of truth. Joran Peterson. Many modern truths are some form of more fundamental truths. Foundations of knowledge, like the Bible, are built on an ethical structure rather than an objective structure. We need this more today than ever in Joran's opinion. Bravery is better than safety, it's a more reliable cure for terror. God doesn't chase away the snakes, he makes everyone braver. Joran Peterson. When you look far enough into the dark, you see the light. The utility of oppression is a means of ruling hell. Joran Peterson. In Joran's eyes, power should not be automatically linked to success. The burden of temporal mortality lifts in the face of genuine dialogue. Joran Peterson. You can't fight when you're laughing. Joran Peterson. Upcoming projects. Upcoming book, We Who Wrestle with God. Exploring the weaponization of guilt, and how we walk on soil soaked with blood. Poem collection, The ABC of Childhood Tragedy. Not for children, dark poems. App project, essay. The goal is to universalize the university by teaching people how to write. Music collection, Joran is producing a character-based music collection.